This is the Belmore Sports Ground. Today's round 18 clash is a do-or-die struggle between the Canterbury Bulldogs and the Illawarra Steelers. The premiership ladder has them poised on 19 points, along with Eastern Suburbs just out of the 5. And a loss here by either team would mean the end of their campaign for a spot in the finals. So both sides will be desperate, and Illawarra have never beaten Canterbury at Belmore.
Yes, make or break for these two teams, equals 7th on the ladder, but they come into this crunch match below full strength. Canterbury without Lamb, McCracken and Gillies, Illawarra without Wishart, McGregor and Fritz. Those changes do weaken the backlines for two very capable forward packs, Arthur.
Well, there certainly are two physical packs on display here today, and plenty at stake, but Canterbury do miss the leadership of Lamb. I question the decision of making McGrady captain. I think there's a better option in the club. He doesn't need the shackles of captaincy to tie him down.
The Bulldogs at home taking on the Steelers, both teams trying to keep their semi-final hopes alive. And the Bulldogs are led out by their mascot and skipper Ewan McGrady. They realise just how important it is to win this match and to reverse the first round scoreline when they were thrashed by Illawarra, 44 points to 4 at Wollongong. Dean Pay. The fullback is Jonathan Davis. On the wings, it's Darren Smith and Matthew Ryan. The centre pair, Darren Brown and Andrew Patmore. McGrady at 5'8". Kevin Moore promoted to halfback. Lock forward, playing his debut match, Steve Reardon. Scott Tronk and Bruce Maguire in the second row. Pay, Peets and Castle, the front row. The coach is Chris Anderson. And the Steelers onto the field, David Moon, the new winger, with David Riolo at fullback, Matthews and McIndoe in the three-quarter lineup. It's likely Matthews will be in the centre. Rodwell, McIndoe and Moon, 5'8", John Simon, half Doug Delaney, with Ian Russell at lock forward, Morrissey and Pinchinelli in the second row, Teitzel, Skiffoliti and Phil Tien in the front row as the coach is Graham Murray. The referee is Eddie Ward, just checking with the Illawarra captain, Dean Skiffoliti, and play underway from the boot of Davis. We'll give him his Welsh pronunciation today as the ball brought back upfield by James Matthews for Illawarra. On the edge of the ruck, Brett Rodwell. Illawarra have never defeated Canterbury at Belmore Oval. And in fact, the Steelers have a fairly poor away record this season. They've only won 2 and drawn 1 of their 6 away games. Back it goes to Simon for the kick. It's high, but not very deep, off the side of his boot. Bouncing away from Darren Smith, playing on the wing for Canterbury today. And he takes the tackle. Simon down there after his own kick, helping out Matthews. Well, let's go to Johnny Pearden, find out about the conditions today.
Conditions ideal, very crucial game, Warren. Illawarra running with the assistance of a northerly breeze. Ewan McGrady the key today. Watch out for a big one.
As Maguire takes it to the halfway line. Kevin Moore at halfback, getting a pass away to Troy Castle, but the pass has just gone forward.
Yes, Eddie Ward showing here the pass from Castle back inside to Jonathan Davies, but that ball deemed to be forward. And Phil Tien was down in back play, Warren.
That'd be frustrating for Castle. It wasn't a bad ball, but having created the opportunity for Davis, called back as Delaney runs from the scrum base. Simon gets it out to Rodwell. Skiffoliti picks up Pinchinelli, but he runs into some solid defence. Good hits coming in from Pay and also Peets. Delaney calls for it. He gets it away to Russell. Short ball for Teitzel. Getting up quickly in defence was Darren Brown. The first round result, an absolute flogging by the Steelers for the Bulldogs that day, and I'm sure that was used as part of Chris Anderson's motivation today for the Bulldogs to perform much better and reverse that result.
That's a good kick and chase by Simon.
The Bulldogs only 10 metres out from their own line as Patmore plays it, and Smith tries to dash away to the blind side. Made a few metres. points in attack this season. Fairly even between these two sides. Defence is the real difference against. Look at that record of Illawarra's. A tremendous defensive record this season, much improved on last year. The third best defence in the league as McGrady tries to escape. McGrady, the danger man. Illawarra moving up quickly as Peets runs it towards centre field. Fifth tackle coming up. Moore at dummy half. Gets it to McGrady. Under pressure from Pinchinelli. This kick isn't very deep for Riolo. Riolo, elusive, gets a pass away. Down the wing goes Moon.
Yeah, Darren Smith on that occasion coming in off his wing onto Rioli. A very good, very fine run of the football, Rioli.
Skiffaletti trying to get outside Maguire. Bruce Maguire, the forgotten man of representative football. In the under-21s today, a win to the Bulldogs, 18-12. And reserve grade, Illawarra 30 defeated Canterbury 22. Pinchinelli trying to go up the centre. Tiernan with a good burst. Tiernan still going. Strong running from Phil Tiernan. He could go all the way. Gets it away to Morrissey. And Morrissey has scored. What a tremendous burst from the front rower. Illawarra creating a try through defence that should have held. It's the Steelers 4-0. As Tiernan took the ball on the wide blind side, burst through the tackle of Castle, and that created the inroads, and he just kept on going, and backing up on the inside was Les Morrissey, and he dashed in for the try.
Yeah, certainly when you miss first up shots like this, Castle's there just falling off the tackle, but also maybe Brown should have went in there on Turney there, and Ewan McGrady shut it away by Delaney there as Morrissey comes up the inside and pushes off McGrady there.
Les Morrissey, former Canberra player, released by the Raiders, joined Illawarra in 1989. From right in front, Matthews adds 2 more points, and the Steelers take an early lead, 6-0.
Yeah, Steeler forwards really on a roll. There's Tiernan getting through a pretty ordinary attempt by Castle. McGrady's there, probably should have wrapped him up there, went high. Now he gets his just desserts, whack. And Morrissey over for the try.
Illawarra coach Graham Murray sending down the messages. He'd be fairly happy with the way his team started.
Much better option there for Canterbury. McGrady using the kick, but a very poor chasing team.
Russell was thinking about moving it wide, but the Illawarra, I should say, the Canterbury defence was moving up and in.
And Geordie Peets in that situation there, just pushing over Ian Russell's in the play the ball movement. Have a look, Russell there, and Peets coming in over the top here. And as Russell gets up to play the ball quickly, we'll see a shoulder there from Peets.
Chris Anderson concentrating, chewing on the gum. Realises just how important it is to win this match. Delaney gets it out to Morrissey. Again, Illawarra, only 25 metres out with Delaney, former Penrith and Balmain player, now with the Steelers. Pinchinelli working wide, but strong defence this time comes in from Reardon and Peets. Morrissey, and another good tackle from Steve Reardon, making his debut in first grade for Canterbury. Rodwell puts it up high, but it's across field. And flying high was Riolo, but he's been caught offside in front of the kicker. Got up very high for a small man.
He certainly did. Not a bad ploy by Illawarra, but on this occasion, referee Eddie Ward has ruled that the Illawarra players were offside, so very hard to check this. A great fly there, but the ball being knocked forward by Riolo.
Peets to take the tap. Goes to Matthew Ryan. He's lost the ball backwards and Teitzel's got it. Penalty against the tackler there. Teitzel dragging the ball loose, stealing the ball, but it looked like a fair, solid hit.
Well, even Eddie Ward hasn't even given any indication of what he has given the penalty for. As we have a look there, and as he did fall back, he did strip him of the ball. Penalty was warranted, Warren.
I'm shaking my head a little. I think it was about a 50-50. Canterbury 5 metres short of halfway on the back of 2 penalties. Tronk over the halfway line. Maguire. Moore. McGrady looking wide. He's got Davis, intercepted by Matthews. James Matthews, former Yanko boy, 21 years of age.
And there was no one at home on that occasion, as we see Rodwell get outside his man here, but if he'd have taken that intercept cleanly, get an uninterrupted run to the line.
Tiernan hits it up. The ball's loose. Pete dives on it for Canterbury. It was Reardon coming up with it, in fact.
Have a look at here, Turney going in, and the ball just popping loose there as he ducks his head.
Couple of mistakes and penalties creeping into the play in the last few moments, handing over possession. Total tackles, Canterbury have had to get through more work, twice as much work nearly. McGrady with runners. Solid hit coming in from Teitzel there on Darren Brown. Patmore. And hurt in that tackle. Patmore staggered by that tackle as McGrady gets the kick away. Riolo across. Solid hit comes in from Darren Smith. Why not? He's played as many games in the second row as he would in the back line. Russell shrugs off Tronk. Tries to get away from Pay. Morrissey. Trying to go over the top of Castle, but he takes him with him. Tiernan hit heavily. Good, strong tackle by Scott Tronk. And that stung Tiernan. Teitzel.
You see Tiernan there just holding his left wrist. But that was a super hit.
Last tackle as Simon gets a long kick away. Much better kick this time from John Simon, sending Davis back. Surrounded by the chasers, but the right foot step gets him away from 2 of them. Matthews and Russell left grabbing. Patmore's recovered.
Tiernan will come off, and Bill Dunn, number 40, replacement.
Darren Smith. This Canterbury backline today revamped by Chris Anderson, of course missing McCracken and Lamb. As Maguire goes up the centre, it might not be the fastest Bulldog back line ever to take the field, but it's got plenty of power. Brown. Fifth tackle. Peets hitting it across field, and McIndoe with some room to move. And he's away from Ryan. Now he tries to get away from Brown. Dangerous kicking to McIndoe, not having the chasers right on top of him, as Bill Dunn gets his first touch of the ball.
Billy Dunn, one of the players that caused a lot of headaches for the Canterbury side down at Wollongong the last time they met.
Pinchinelli held as Morrissey and Maguire just running into each other off the ball. Delaney gets a good pass away to Dunn. He's almost through. Taken by Brown. Skiffolitti out to Russell. Reardon's got hold of him. Fifth tackle. Kick put ahead by Skiffolitti, but well gathered in, and Brown throws a big dummy. Head was never going to be taken. 6 points to 0 in favour of the Steelers. Moore. Short ball for Reardon. Good ball out to McGrady. He looks wide, sends it out to Ryan. He's inside McIndoe, and away from Russell. Flying down the touchline, McGrady's on the outside. Oh, the pass went behind him. McGrady might have overrun it, Ryan, a little as well.
Yeah, good defence there. Initially in the first place, this is a good step here off his right here by Ryan, but if you have a look, you'll see in the background there, McIndoe trying to say go for McGrady, but McGrady was in the clear. McIndoe didn't have the pace to catch McGrady.
And Scott Wilson.
He'll do anything to keep away from Gus.
Happy with North Sydney's win over Parramatta last night.
Canterbury 12 errors to Illawarra 4. So Chris Anderson certainly would be pointing to that statistic at half-time.
Delaney decides to run it. Put his head down, almost shot through the hole, but it closed. Pete's just got to him. Simon now kicking on the last. Darren Smith going back, but it's gone touch in goal. So once more, the pressure relieved and back to the 22 for the tap. A couple of times Illawarra's kick on the last tackle has handed back possession.
Yeah, we have a look there, and that ball just rolling end on in there, as Warren said, touch and go.
Maguire. Chris Maguire really hasn't come into contention for the representative games this season. It's Tronk, bursts away, up to the halfway line. That's a good recovery from injury for Tronk. Fine burst from the former Queensland origin player. And Maguire there to carry it forward once more. Castle running well. Seizing on the opportunity to go forward as Reardon now gets it to Maguire. Morrissey's up there in defence. Back to McGrady. Skiffalitti's got him. Morrissey might have saved the day by getting up quickly in defence. Canterbury had men out wide. Tronk loses it back. McGrady's onside. Castle diving on it. Scrappy. That's the last tackle coming up. Davis on his own side of halfway. Pinchinelli trying to charge it down. Riolo looking for McIndoe, and the ball almost intercepted by Ryan. Very near thing. And the other McGrady brother, Jason McGrady, about to come on.
Darren Brown, the man replaced.
Rodwell showing his strength, trying to drag out of the tackle.
John Canterbury's kicking game, kick and chasing game is very ordinary at the moment.
They're having trouble even getting a kick in, Arthur, and no excuse for the chasers. They should be down there. But gee, they've spent some time in their own half.
Another penalty up inside the 5. This time it was Tronk and Patmore. Well, there's a man Canterbury are missing. Suspended for 4 weeks for headbutting Jeff Tuvey. And this is the 3rd week of his sentence. 11 minutes remaining in the first half. Ian Russell held. Bill Dunn was flat-footed as he took off that time. Skiffalitti to Delaney, and he steps straight past Tronk. He looks to Skiffalitti now. Skiffalitti's all by himself. Finally links up with Matthews. Canterbury cover converging from all directions. Last tackle coming up. Simon puts the kick into the in-goal area. But for the 3rd time, they've kicked it dead in goal. John Simon just going a little long.
Yeah, I thought he could have kicked that ball across the face of the ruck. We have a look, the little kick once again going to the in-goal area, but the ground very hard in that area.
Canterbury have won 6 out of 8 at home this season. They're down by 6 points to 0. Maguire. 2 second rows, Maguire and Tronk and Castle working hard to make the break. And here's Castle now. Gets a good pass back to Moore. Moore's lost the ball, but it was stolen, says the ref. Skipperlity, the Illawarra captain, disputing referee Ward's interpretation.
We have a look here. Simon, the man there, and Moore trying to get up to play it quickly, but the hand definitely in that area.
Reardon to Moore. Out wide, they have numbers. Pat Moore puts it down. And now a chance for Rodwell. Upfield he goes. McIndoe was unmarked outside him. He thought about it too late.
And great awareness there shown by Ian Russ as he pops that ball up to Rodwell.
Teitzel. Canterbury butchered a chance. They had an overlap on the right-hand side as Pat Moore dropped that ball.
It was certainly a tough ball, but...
Yeah, both Canterbury wingers a tendency to go in defence all the time. They could get into trouble if Illawarra work the edges.
Skiffoliti for Rodwell, who manages to hold on well, but the referee has called a forward pass.
It wasn't only a forward pass, but it was a tough one for Rodwell. So Skiffoliti there just shotting that ball forward. Illawarra starting to make a few mistakes.
The Bulldogs finally let it come out the back. Pay has lost the ball in the tackle. That one wasn't stolen.
That was a result of a good hit between Morrissey and his Pay there, just trying to get his arms released.
Delaney puts it in. Simon had to wait for it. Rodwell. And Davies forced to stay up in the line. Still no fullback as Riolo goes ahead. There's no one coming across to fill the hole. There's still no one on the blind side for Canterbury. And up goes Bill Dunn. He goes straight through the hole. He's got Delaney on the outside. Delaney for the line, and he can't quite get there. Took the corner post. Poor marking up by Canterbury. They left no one on the blind side in defence, and Dunn saw it.
Good run there by Dunn there, but just getting past the tackle of Dean Pay here and trying to position Delaney there, but Davies having the speed to cover both parties. But maybe he could have sold the dummy there.
And almost looked as if Davies took the corner post out rather than Doug Delaney. Darren Smith has the ball for Canterbury. 4 minutes, keep going. Heats has the ball. Let's have another look and see if Delaney does hit the corner post here. Right in the corner, it's Davies swinging towards it. Delaney still in play. Well, it's difficult to tell in that tangle of arms and legs.
They'll have to make up their own conclusion.
A near thing, nevertheless. As the kick charged down by Simon, and Rodwell's got it. Rodwell racing away. Looks inside as he gets away from more. He comes to Davies. It's floated for McIndoe. He's taken it on the bounce, but the referee says that it did go forward. The touch judge is in.
We have a look here. Is Rodwell here getting the ball, and I thought he should have went himself.
Well, let's see if this is knocked on. It must have come off Morrissey's hand there, and then maybe McIndoe knocked it on as well.
Yeah, he should have taken Davis on then. He would have got to the line.
So 2 try-scoring chances in the corner blown.
Well, I think he's ruled that someone was held back.
They're in all sorts of trouble, Canterbury, but it's still only 6-0 with a possibility of 8 here. But considering what they've shown this half, they can consider themselves fairly lucky. Illawarra making a lot of breaks, failing to finish them off.
The man that might have been held back is Les Morrissey. Could have been held without the ball. We'll have a look. I think Les Morrissey will be the key here. And there you can see Les Morrissey there being tackled without the ball.
He didn't appear to be held back very far, but it was enough, and I guess you start to think about penalty tries in that situation. Matthews. Converted the first try from right in front. This is more difficult. He's hit it well. That's a fine kick. Great kick by Matthews, filling in for Rod Wishart. It's 8 points to 0 in favour of the Steelers. Not long to go till half-time. Just over a minute as Davies gets the kick away. Riolo gets a bad bounce. Or is it David Moon, in fact, bringing it back? Russell. Almost away from the tackle of Castle. Morrissey. Bulldog defence, though half-time not far away, is going to have to stiffen as Teitzel goes up the centre. Simon. Long kick away. Davies is deep. Canterbury get the penalty. Illawarra inside the 10 metres, well downfield.
Well, they certainly won't get much use of this football because half the Canterbury side are just walking back on side, so want to get a couple of tackles out of it, they'll have to hurry up.
Six seconds remaining on the clock. Canterbury, throw it wide. Maguire had Davies looming up. He gets it to McGrady. McGrady's wrapped up though. Delaney and Simon combining to make the tackle. So Canterbury have a lot of work to do. Only one try's been scored, but it's the Steelers leading the Bulldogs 8 points to 0.
From the Belmore Sports Ground, this is round 18 of the Premiership race, coming your way on ABC Sports.
Canterbury's defence and chasing of kicks is going to have to improve, and Illawarra were getting a little sloppy. They may regret those blown try-scoring opportunities. Let's have a look at the half-time statistics. The scrums have gone to Illawarra 5-4, no tight heads. The penalties are 4 apiece. Too many errors by Canterbury, and overall the Bulldogs have had to get through a mountain of defence. The Bulldogs will have the wind in the second half, but both teams can improve on their first half act. Second half underway from the boot of James Matthews. And well taken by Cassell as it curled around and stopped in the breeze. Illawarra defence up quickly, all over the top of the winger Ryan. Pay heads towards centre field. I'm sure both coaches would have called for an increase in intensity from their two teams. What do they have to say, John?
Well, Illawarra coach Graham Murray realises his side probably should be further in front, but that's not going to help them. He wants them to maintain that intensity. While Chris Anderson, obviously they've got a win behind them, looking for better field position and better kick game.
That was a very ordinary kick there by Ewan McGrady. He did gain probably 20 or 25 metres there, but with that wind at his back, one would expect him to gain at least 60 metres.
Delaney with the scrum win. Simon out to Riolo, coming up into the back line. Well taken by Pat Moore. Also up there was Davies. Now he has to sprint back to fullback again as Delaney ducks under tackles.
And there we see Dean Pay leading the way for Canterbury there with 19. And Piccinelli, as he always does, for Illawarra, leading with 13 tackles, which is not all that many for Illawarra.
10 metres inside Bulldog territory. It's Simon. Gets it out to McIndoe. Ryan just manages to hang on. And he went again. The referee calling the 5th tackle. Well, you would think that McIndoe should have been penalised for running after he was tackled. Delaney kicks. McGrady goes back. The ball's going to have to be taken. Goose step by McGrady. Change of direction and pace. But they've trapped him, and it'll be a goal line dropout.
There's certainly a beautiful kick here by Delaney, and chasing up his kick there, trapping McGrady in the in-goal area. We see that kick there just rolling around the in-goal area, and McGrady there having to try to get a elude a couple of tackles there, and it's Ian Russell who makes first contact.
Doug Delaney, a nuggety performer, as the kick evades Riolo. Good chase from Reardon. Pincinelli, Russell. Morrissey, the pass goes astray. Teitzel. And Canterbury have come up with the ball. Teitzel let it go, and Heats has it for Canterbury. McGrady swings it out to Maguire.
Maguire had the numbers out right there. Jonathan Davies is joining in the back line there. Delaney getting on the outside, forcing Maguire to go back inside.
Broken shear taken to ground on the halfway. Moore. Good ball comes out to Pat Moore. McGrady. And he's cut down on the halfway. So they're not going forward. Maguire kicks it ahead. That's one way to make ground downfield. It's a good kick from Maguire. Riolo on his goal line. Patmore in front of him. And Patmore with a good low tackle. There seems to... Rodwell now. Rodwell escapes the tackle. Off he goes, but he's all by himself. No support. Skiffaletti gets the pass away to Moon, onto Russell. Teitzel. Skiffaletti. He gets it out to Morrissey. Morrissey swept upon by Maguire in Brokenshire.
Oh. Maguire there throwing a right hand, a beautiful right hand there to Morrissey. So Maguire here might spend a bit of time in the sin bin.
That was a short left.
Left, right.
Poured out by Morrissey, and then Maguire's reacted. Really was just a push more by Morrissey than anything.
I think Maguire did push Morrissey away. He's just trying to play the ball. We have a look at Maguire coming in over the top with a tackle, and Morrissey there being pushed back. If you have a look here, pushed right back here by Maguire, and it's obviously called play the ball.
Well, the penalty has gone to Canterbury in the end, so the touch judge has ruled that Morrissey was the initiator of the incident. He paid heavily for what wasn't much of a blow.
Certainly was, and I think he... we have a look here, and we just see it here. He wasn't only on the wrong end of... he did put out a hand there, but...
Darren Smith has the ball from the tap, and Canterbury only 20 metres out. Brokenshire. That penalty could be just the stimulus that the Bulldogs needed. They're right on the attack here. Peach turns it back up the centre to Cassell. He's driven backwards. Moore. McGrady. Hobbing the kick through. Pat Moore after it. So too is Jason McGrady, but McIndoe's got it covered. And Jason McGrady gets him. Quick play the ball to Rodwell. And that's a valuable gain up towards the 22. Morrissey. Morrissey's through defence there. That again, tackles being missed. Hay left on the ground that time. Delaney turns it inside to Russell. He's taken well by Castle. Simon. Straight to Ryan. And Ryan almost away from the tackle. In fact, Pincinelli couldn't hang on. Moore. McGrady. Up very quickly was Matthews. Maguire. Maguire's outside Morrissey and away. And he's got men outside. outside. Gets a pass to Smith. Smith back inside to Davies. And Davies watches away from Matthews and comes around to improve the position. You felt that Canterbury's intensity had lifted in the last few minutes. The crowd was getting behind them. They got the penalty after Morrissey threw out the half-hearted tap, and it's all resulted in a try a moment or two later as McGrady got the pass back to Maguire. Maguire got outside Morrissey, who just couldn't go with him for pace. Outside him was Darren Smith. Smith looks inside, and there's Davies, and they simply weren't going to get to Davies there.
Yeah, this is all Maguire here, but it's a fine effort here by Matthews in defence. He goes up initially on the outside to try and stop that ball being offloaded by McGrady, but it's Maguire who steps outside Morrissey there, and it's just a matter of, just like an old centre, drawing the defence of Russell there, and back inside we see Jonathan Davies outspeeding the clutching defence there of Matthews.
Try number 4 for Davies after joining Canterbury mid-season. This will be a valuable conversion if he can land it. He hits it well. Good-looking kick, and it's through. So Canterbury rein in the Steelers. It's 8 points to 6 in favour of Illawarra.
Well, Canterbury finally starting to show something. This was a kick return by Ryan. The ball came out. That was a good offload by McGrady. Maguire shows surprising pace here to streak through. Morrissey was outpaced. Here comes the cover. Russell was good enough probably to get both, but was hindered. And Jonathan Davis on the inside finishes off. That'll get them started, hopefully.
Peets, the crowd roaring for a penalty, trying to get referee Ward to check his 5 metres. Brokenshire. Moore. Made such a good break just a few moments ago. Castle. He's got plenty of pace for a big man. They're getting to the advantage line. Davies puts it up high, but hasn't gone far forward. Delaney has lost it. There's 6 more tackles.
Yeah, on that occasion, I thought the Canterbury players were well in front of Davies.
McGrady. Ewan McGrady hasn't got away yet, but there's still plenty of time for him. Peets. The bonus 6, the Bulldogs. Piling on the pressure. It goes to McGrady. He looks wide. Gives it away to Patmore. 15 metres out. McGrady again. Smith. Castle. Gets it back for Moore. And keeping the ball alive. Making the defence work. Last tackle. Davies kicks ahead. It's knocked on both ways. But the first knock-on was off Illawarra, was it? It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether he rules this a charge down. We have a look at the left, the right footer there being put through. But that could be deemed a charge down, as Teitzel there just knocks that ball down. But he has
a knock-on, and it's a scrum feed to Canterbury. Scrum win as it goes to Patmore. So Illawarra are going to have to soak up 3 sets of 6 if they can hold out. McGrady. Only a couple of metres out. Held by Pinchinelli and Morrissey. The Steelers clinging on. Brokenshire trying to power his way through. Kevin Moore, one off the ruck. Peach goes himself. And he's got it down, has he? Referee Ward checking. It's a try to Canterbury. And it's been scored by Geordie Peets. 10 points to 8 in favour of the Bulldogs. They hit the lead. Well, they had to hold out for a long time, Illawarra. This was the 3rd set of 6. Peets went from dummy half. Simon in front of him. Russell there. In fact, Skiffaletti, the ball just squeezing through, and that's a good effort in the arms of 4 tacklers by Peets.
Yeah, the name of the game is pressure here. Illawarra just had to soak up 16 tackles in a row, and we see the result of it here as Geordie Peets just weaves his way through a team of defenders.
and makes no mistake. So Canterbury hit the front and extend the lead to 4 points. It's the Bulldogs 12, the Steelers 8.
Yeah, well, the Bulldogs finally getting field position and possession. This is a good effort by Peets. He's got plenty of defence around him, but he gets the arm through. It's a good effort.
Chris Anderson, his face hasn't changed from when this team were losing to when it's winning. He realises there's still plenty of time left in this match. Reardon plays it back. Peets trying to push off, bend away from Russell.
We have a look there. The difference in the first half was about 40 tackles, 102, I think, to 73. Yeah, 30 dip. But now we can see that Canterbury are bridging that gap.
McGrady boots it away from McIndoe. Ryan and Patmore down there. McIndoe gets away from them, and he's away from Jason McGrady. Up the centre goes McIndoe, and that's a great run. Makes all the difference being back on the 22 rather than near goal line. And here's Delaney. Oh, and inside with Skipperletti, but the pass has gone to McGrady for Canterbury. Well, after two tremendous runs by McIndoe and Delaney, they handed it back to the Bulldogs. Canterbury leading 12 points to 8. Brakenshire. Canterbury warming to their task. 20 metres out here. It's Moore. Castle. McGrady. Moore. Tronk. Still going Tronk. Flicks it up, but Matthews has got it for Illawarra.
Yeah, it's Scotty Tronk having a very good game, but on that occasion they're just trying to do too much.
Illawarra with another chance to work it away from their territory.
Jason McGrady off. The new player, Paul Doolan, in 15.
I'm a little surprised at that change. I thought Jason McGrady was doing his job.
No, he just got hurt in the tackle of McIndoe. Well, attempting to tackle McIndoe, so...
Skipperletti. Last tackle coming up now for the Steelers. Simon puts a little kick through. He could get to it. Davis comes to the ball and takes it well. Great commitment there from the fullback to come headlong straight to it. He's taken a knock.
Certainly was. He might have copped a knee in the back here as both go for this ball, but this is a beautiful kick in between the hole here. And Davies just having the speed to get to that and receive bang. Collision there as Simon just comes in over the top.
And the bounce just going to the right a little, and I bet you Simon would have been thinking about towing it ahead.
Well, he certainly would have, and he's also had Ian Russell in support.
Maguire. Peets kicking out on the full. And wouldn't both teams love to have a cool, experienced head out on the field at this stage of the game? A Terry Lamb for Canterbury, or maybe a Chris Walsh for Illawarra. Both out of action at the moment for different reasons.
And there's the missed tackles there. Canterbury still...
Punch on Matthews! Matthews up the centre. He's got Tony Smith with him. Smith's got support, but he goes himself. He had Delaney inside. He's taken the tackle.
Well, that should be 10 minutes in the sin bin, Smith.
Delaney throws it out wide for the corner. Diving over is McIndoe. McIndoe scores. The try awarded. And great work by the referee Ward there to play the advantage. The penalty was warranted. The scores are locked at 12-all. But a tremendous break. And the smiles on the Illawarra bench. McIndoe finishing it off after the long pass by Delaney, floated it over the top.
Yeah, Darren Smith, it was a great tackle here. But we see the ball just going out from Delaney, and a super ball there, but just stepping inside Patmore there. And good cover there by Ryan, but not enough strength to force McIndoe over the touchline.
Try number 14 for McIndoe, the leading try scorer in the competition. Behind him, Halligan, Mackay, Smith and Williams have all scored 12 tries. James Matthews, just 21 years of age, hasn't played a lot of first grade. He'll need all his wits about him. This is a very important kick. With the scores locked at 12 all. Inches in from touch. No, it's wide. So it's 12 all, Canterbury and Illawarra.
A break up the centre. Teitzel did the damage, straight through a tromp tackle, slipped the ball beautifully to James Matthews, and he picks up the replacement, Tony Smith here. He takes the ball to within a metre of the Canterbury line, and that's, of course, when they spread the ball, and the winger McIndoe was responsible for a try in the corner. There's a long ball by Delaney. Only option, really, because Canterbury were up very quickly, and McIndoe did well to get it down with his left hand.
Davies restarts play. It's an interesting point, even though there was no penalty awarded. I suppose the referee retrospectively was entitled to put someone in the sin bin.
I thought that Darren Smith can consider himself very lucky that he's not spending 10 minutes in the sin bin. He'd made that great tackle there and on Smith and refused to allow him to play the ball quickly.
So now it's the Steelers with their tails up and Teitzel roaring onto the ball. Skiffolitti, good pass out to Pinchinelli.
And once again, the Canterbury forwards allowing guys like Teitzel to offload.
Delaney decides to play it down the other end. And that's a good steadying kick. Well, Arthur, 12 points all. These two teams on 19 points. A draw today and 4 wins would get them 28. What would you go for, the win or the draw?
I think both sides will be going for the win.
At what risk?
A draw will do, mate.
There's Jason McGrady. Brother of Ewan. Look-alike almost. Matthew Ryan. Were you speaking as the Eastern Suburbs co-coach there, John?
Exactly. I just put another cap on then for a moment.
Darren Smith. Tronk. Maguire in centre field. Been a much better second half from both teams.
You see the experience there of Bruce Maguire as he knew that Tony Smith was in the ruck area. He tried to play that ball onto Tony Smith.
Riolo gets it to McIndoe. Plenty of cover and a good tackle from Darren Smith. Delaney, who's getting busier and busier in this last 9 minutes now. Russell. 12 points all. Pinchinelli. Skiffolitti at dummy half. Cross. He's 32 metres out. It's the last tackle. Will they think about a field goal? Too far out. Simon pops it back inside. It's the last. But Patmore has knocked it on.
Yeah, it's an interesting call here. It looks as though the ball could have been popped backwards here as was on the last tackle, and naturally the head and the feed now will go to Illawarra. We have a look here, and tough call.
Simon.
You're going to put yourself through all that, Arthur.
Rodwell. You said tough call. Did you think it was incorrect?
No, I thought that it was definitely a knock-on. But you said the expression on Chris Anderson's face told it all, I think.
The ball's gone wide of Teitzel. That's a bad mistake. They could have easily set themselves up for a field goal there. Pass went to no one. Broken shy. Skiffolitti at dummy half, threw it wide of Teitzel, who was just trying to hit it up the centre towards the goalposts. Castle.
Well, Illawarra, no doubt, will be hoping to pin Canterbury down here and get some sort of field position for a field goal by maybe John Simon. Tony Smith You see Moore go away again, make a great break.
And Moore gets it out wide. Back inside is Darren Smith. Doolan it was getting the pass inside. McGrady. Darting back to the blind side. Darren Smith. He's got Doolan. Darren Smith himself. Smith is over. Darren Smith through the dummy. And straight over for what could well be the match-winning try. All started by Kevin Moore. He's made 2 decisive breaks in this second half. Darren Smith, this utility player, has finished it off. McGrady involved, as always, stepping, cut back to the blind where he knew the defence was short. And the dummy thrown by Smith. Skipperletti tried to hold him, but not good enough.
Yeah, it resulted from a great break by Kevin Moore, but beautiful pass here from McGrady. As we see Moore make this initial break. He's caught in the ball goes out here.
Doolan was throwing it back inside to Smith.
And we see Smith does well here. As we said, he gets up, plays the ball. The ball goes out to the right there to McGrady, but McGrady just steps back inside Skipperletti there and picks up Smith once again, who did play the ball. Sells a beautiful dummy there, and Skipperletti certainly hasn't the pace to bring down Smith.
Darren Smith was the Bulldogs Player of the Year last season. He's pretty happy with that one. Vital try, 4th try of the year for him. A good ball early in that play by Scott Tronk, just to give the forwards their credit. Davies just about lock Illawarra out of this game if he can land this. 9 metres in from touch. Hits it well, it's coming around, it's a beautiful kick. There's the value of experience and a cool head. The Rugby Union International, it's Canterbury 18, Illawarra 12. Not long to go.
Well, how fortunes change in this game. A mistake by Illawarra in the Canterbury quarter, and this resulted a couple of rucks later, and Ewan McGrady's been threatening most of the game. He's finally unloaded, and this very fine athlete, Darren Smith, goes over.
You said a great ball there by Scotty Tronk, and he certainly played well today.
Pete's taken. Illawarra will be desperate to try and get hold of the ball now. If they can't afford to try and steal it. Rodwell.
I think Illawarra only have themselves to blame if they lose this one, and it looks like they'll do just that, but...
Well, you go back to that pass from Skipperletti out to Teitzel where they lost possession. They weren't under pressure. Just a hurried pass. It didn't have to be forced. Canterbury inside the 10 after the kick. Dean Pay wrapped around the ankles of McIndoe.
See Mark Brokenshaw.
It was Ryan.
Right, but Mark Brokenshaw also down and back, play receiving Cretan.
John Simon's off. Delaney gets it to Russell.
We have a look there, 195 tackles each.
Illawarra need a converted try in the dying stages to salvage a draw. 18-12 to the Bulldogs. Skipperletti. The ball's been lost, and Canterbury have it. Cross was unable to hang on to the ball.
Not a very good pass there by Skipperletti. He had to go from dummy half, and when he ran out of the yards, he offloaded a poor pass.
In the first half, Illawarra seemed to have the ball, a game in control. They bombed to try scoring chances as Scott Tronk bursts away. And Castle carries it forward. That burst by Tronk has carried play right into Illawarra's territory. Now they have their backs to the wall on the last tackle. McGrady shoots for a field goal. Calm as a light. What a beautifully potted field goal. He hit it superbly. He stopped, had all the time in the world, had a good look at the post and popped it over. Canterbury have got this game game in the bag, 19-12.
Yeah, it looked as though they were going to run the football, but Craig Teitzel there trying to jump up and touch that football, but as you said, calm as you like, McGrady just puts the game out of reach for Illawarra.
The long passes towards centre field, and then McGrady Russell coming through after his own kick. 19 points to 12. And is that the end for the Steelers? Chris Anderson.
I'm sure he'll feel a little bit easier now, Warren.
Illawarra played some tremendous football this season. Been a very good year for them, but this might be the end. It's been a consistent season. But I think they can look back on this game and say that they've had their opportunities. Fifth tackle as McGrady kicks. Illawarra will also look back on the day they lost to Western Suburbs by 1 point with the late field goal. It's one that got away. Skiffaletti to McIndoe. It might not be over yet. McIndoe down the touchline. Inside is Pinchinelli. Pinchinelli's got Riolo with him. Across comes the cover. Riolo for the line. He's just short. Brilliant tackle by Darren Smith. Trying to play the ball. It's got to be a penalty. It's got to be someone in the bin, but time's what Illawarra need. McIndoe wants to take the tap. Smith is in the bin.
Well, all he's getting is an early shower.
Pinchinelli swings it wide. Morrissey, they've got numbers outside. Back inside is Tony Smith under a high tackle. But what Illawarra really needed was the quick play the ball. Teitzel, Russell, knocked down by Canterbury, but it's a knock on. Frustration for Skiffaletti.
A beautiful tackle once again by Darren Smith. He certainly had a tremendous game.
Full-time siren sounds, and Eddie Ward says, that's it. Canterbury continue in the race for the semi-finals, but Illawarra now face the reality that it's very unlikely they're going to figure in the 1991 semis.
So on their home ground, the Bulldogs of Canterbury take the vital 2 points, improving their tally to 21 and keeping their chance for a final spot alive with just 4 games left before the semi-finals start.
19 points to 12 for Canterbury. The try scorers Davis, Peets and Smith. Davis kicking 3 goals from 3 attempts, and for Illawarra 2 tries, 1 each to Morrissey and McIndoe, and Matthews kicking 2 from 3. McGrady, of course, adding the field goal for Canterbury. Very little in it, but winners are grinners, and Bruce Maguire is with Johnny Peard.
Well, Bruce, I guess the points are on the board. It was a good effort in the end.
It was a good effort in the end. The first half was very slow for us, but we just had to come back in the second half. And the blokes did, you know, we're looking at sort of getting to the semis, and we've lost a few on the trot, so we really needed this one today.
Yeah, that very slow start, and even at half-time I thought maybe Illawarra had done enough in the first half to nail the coffin, but it was a great fight back.
It was a great fight by our blokes, and we really needed it. You know, it's lift our confidence for next week. We've got Penrith, so we'll be looking for a big one next week as well.
Thanks a lot, Bruce.
Thanks, Johnny.
Not a convincing performance from Canterbury, but they're still in the running with some key